In the 2010s, a new trend was emerging. It was not the Harlem Shake, nor was it Charlie Charlie. Instead, this trend can be found in the boardrooms of studio executives in Los Angeles. What was it? Well, you see, they realized something. You have these YouTubers, as they are called, and they have upwards of 100 subscribers to hundreds of thousands of subscribers. What if we take that internet personality and put them on the big screen? Then we could get 100 to 100,000 ticket sales. And this will get us to connect with the internet generation, I assume. Well, I had the mixed pleasure of watching all of the 7 major YouTuber films, from Fred 1 to Internet Famous. And my goal was to rank them from A, that's a pretty good movie, to fuck this movie. Did I succeed? Yes. Will you find out what I think? Of course. But I think we should start with a disclaimer. What is a YouTuber movie? Well, the simplest definition of a YouTuber movie is a film created by a major film studio or semi-major studio that has the YouTuber as the main feature. This film also needs to have a theatrical, direct-to-DVD, or streaming service release. So it can't be just a fan creation made by a YouTuber that he put on his channel or something. It cannot also be a YouTube Red original because those were direct-to-YouTube movies. So, oh well. If we're gonna get into these movies, why don't we start with the kings of YouTube themselves, Ian and Anthony Smosh.
What can beat my pink frosted sprinkled donuts of awesome? Then you're on, cock goblin!
It is 2015, and Anthony Smosh and Ian Smosh are the kings of YouTube right now. And it is time to go where no YouTuber has dared to go before. To the big screen with Smosh, the movie. But what happens in this death-defying, daring film? Well, you see, Ian and Anthony more or less play themselves, Ian Smosh and Anthony Smosh. But soon, things will change, as they are invited to their 5-year high school reunion. How fun! They could show their epic YouTubing skills to their high school buddies. And Anthony could talk to his high school sweetheart, whom he never was able to make a move on, and to truly express his feelings for her. That all changes when a internet video surfaces on www.youtube.com. And this video shows something horrifying. It shows Anthony Smosh attempting to do a big badass backflip before getting a microphone shoved up his ass because he fell on it. How are these two going to get it out? Smosh the Movie is genuinely charming. Ian and Anthony Smosh, of course, have a wonderful chemistry together. And for the most part, a lot of the bits, they land well. It can be a very funny movie at times. I say at times because I do have a genuine issue with Smosh the Movie. Its pacing, oh my god, it felt like while I was watching it that I was just like staring at the screen waiting for the next funny moment to happen. And of course, coming out in 2015, some of the humor is dated to the mid-2010s, and you could definitely see that with a lot of the references, you know, all like the YouTuber references and stuff. But like, honestly, that's a part of the charm, I would say. It is a very charming movie that really does encapsulate a lot of the mid-2010s YouTube aura. My thoughts on Smosh the Movie are as follows. It is a very fun hurrah of the mid-2010s YouTube that, while dated and has some very inconsistent pacing between very funny moments and moments that just go on for too long, I would highly recommend watching Smosh the Movie, especially if you can gather all your friends together, consume substances. I won't say which, but you know the type. That's really what Smosh the Movie is for. A movie to have a good time with your friends. So, I can't be too harsh on Smosh the Movie. Can't make it any lower than a C.
Yeah!
Hey Shane Dawson, I'm really sorry about your grandma.
Now we're here. Not Cool was the 2014 directorial and actorial debut of Shane Dawson to the film scene. It was made for a 2014 reality show called The Chair, where up-and-coming directors would be given the opportunity at $800,000 to direct their own movie. However, with some guardrails being that they all had to use the same plot. And then the viewers would decide if this movie was good or not. Shane Dawson was up against A.M. Lucas, and the two films, Holidaysburg and Not Cool, would be put up to a vote at the end. Thanks to Shane Dawson's rabid fans, Not Cool would win that vote. Well, the movie follows Shane Dawson basically playing himself. And he is back home from college for Thanksgiving break, and his girlfriend, who is very hyperactive, breaks up with him through a glory hole. And there's also the other main character, who is basically a girl who is trying to escape both her parents and her high school past because they called her Tori the Hoary. You know, and they stumble through Thanksgiving break through Pittsburgh. And there's sex, there's horny, there's every single fucking ethnic stereotype Shane Dawson could think of, and there's piss because he's a piss king. Wow! As I stated before, Shane Dawson plays both the main character, his mean girl archetype he had in his old videos, and that I didn't bother to look it up, but that aunt character. I don't remember her name, but the Shane Dawson archetypes are all there, and they're all funny. They're funny. Oh, wow! Shane Dawson twerk? What? God. If you can't tell, this is a fucking awful movie where Shane Dawson plays the cool guy, and the hot guy, and he's hot, and he's cool, and he's badass, and he doesn't have sex with cats. Whatever, fuck. This movie gets an F. I don't care. From one Shane Dawson film to another one that stars him. The direct-to-DVD, internet famous.
If I tell them to do something, they do it. You know, hey guys, go thumb up this video. Million thumbs.
How to describe internet famous? To summarize, it more or less is a fake documentary following a bunch of YouTubers as they all compete to get a TV reality show. And with that premise alone, you can already get an idea for what's to come. It's less a YouTuber movie and more of a YouTuber movie because it's more or less just a sketch about influencer stereotypes locked in at like 2015 and then turned into a feature-length movie. You know, it's just like, what if we did PewDiePie? What if we did Shane Dawson? And we just exaggerated it to the 10th degree. And I know, you know, you have to do that for a movie, whatever, but like, God, there is a way that internet famous could have worked. Like, you can see how it could. You know, a mockumentary about YouTubers competing for a reality TV show. That there is potential there, I will give it that. It's just the execution just isn't good because this is still at a time where studio executives and most people in the more mainstream culture didn't really know how to place a YouTuber yet, you know? I can't put it lower than Not Cool. I can't put it at the same tier as Not Cool. We'll just give it a D tier. A solid D+. Airplane mode is a movie that happens when you gather a bunch of influencers, put them in a room, and tell them for 90 minutes that you're funny, do whatever, and then you forget to make the actual movie. And for its release date in 2019, it feels really stuck in like 2016. That's because it is. For you see, the movie was slated to release in 2017, but Logan had a little trip he needed to make beforehand, which would end up causing the movie to basically be delayed for release until a lawsuit more or less forced its release to happen to a streaming service in 2019. The movie, from the poster and the title, you can pretty much tell is a homage to 1980s Airplane, one of the staples of the comedy parody movie genre. But does it live up to the movie it gets its title from? No, no. Logan Paul is basically Logan Paul, and he has a online girlfriend who lives in Australia. And he doesn't like this. Understandably, long-distance relationships can be a very strong commitment. Logan Paul must feel that stress. And also because they only can have cyber sex. And one of the other main characters is a virgin, and that always comes up. But luckily, Logan Paul will not have to be stuck talking to his girlfriend over hundreds of thousands of miles, because the biggest, bestest, greatest YouTube convention is occurring in Australia, where his girlfriend lives. However, there's a catch. Logan is deathly afraid of flying. So, this movie will be a heartfelt tale of a man overcoming his fear of flying for love. No, no, I tricked you. It is actually, watching Logan Paul die in a horrific plane crash because all of the influencers were so desperate to have their phones on, they forgot to turn the airplane mode on, and as such, chaos and panic ensues as Logan realizes all of his worst fears are happening at once. The pilots go down, so now he has to fly the plane. The shenanigans ensue as all the influencers are doing influencer things. King Bach goes, "Only a spoonful!" King Bach is the only saving grace. If there wasn't an Only the Spoonful reference, I actually would not even reviewed this film. It would have been so bad, I wouldn't have reviewed it. But he said the line, and that's all that matters to me. But with all of this leaves us with 3 films left. You know them. You know why they're last. It is time for, hey guys, it's...
Hey, it's Fred! Hey, it's Fred! Hey, it's Fred! Hey, it's Fred!
The Fred movies were the first of the YouTuber movies, with Fred 1 coming out in 2010. And probably because of the supervision of Nickelodeon, it genuinely is a wonderful film. The main plot of Fred is Fred. Fred lives with his mom. Fred also imagines his dad to still be around to give him advice. And that is John Cena, who is wonderful. And as most of us know, if you follow the John Cena filmography lore, Fred is really the movie that causes John Cena's whole perspective on acting to change and allowed him to really become the actor and wrestler he is today.
System. Where does that say, you know, we're going as citizens and as a culture? It is another facet of the American dream.
So, you know, if there was no Fred, there could have been no Peacemaker. Throughout this film, you will realize very early on that you fucking hate Fred. Fred is annoying. Fred is creepy. You know, they don't play it as creepy, but like, he basically doxes Judy's house and goes on a stalking adventure to find her. You know, but you will hate Fred, but you won't hate him enough to turn the movie off. And that is because of one man, Kevin.
He likes it, mommy. Oh, he likes it. Oh, thank you.
Every Kevin scene is literally perfect. No notes, nothing. Kevin fucking throwing dodgeballs at a screaming, crying Fred. Hilarious. Is that cruel? I don't know. I guess it's based off of your interpretation of Fred. John Cena, Kevin, Bertha, without them, I don't really know how much Fred 1 could work. But besides that, it's memorable too. There will be moments in Fred 1 that you will remember. Like, when I was watching Fred, I had a hashtag nostalgia balls fucking going, holy fucking shit, I remember this moment. You know, the whole, you know, Fred, Jenny music video with the beep beep stuff. I remember that.
So give me that beep, 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 beep.
The Fred walking home depressed after getting rejected. I distinctly remember that. It was just like, holy fucking shit. And it's like, comedic timing, I laughed pretty much throughout the film. You know, it's like Smosh in that regard. With the highs of Fred 1 come Fred 2 in 2011. And for the most part, gotta say, nothing wrong with Fred 2. And to add to that, it's a Halloween special. So you fucking know it's gonna be charming. Fred's music teacher has gone missing, and the new man who has replaced her is a shifty fellow, to Fred at least. Something is off about this man, and Fred must find out why. Is it because he's a vampire? To Fred, that isn't a yes. And he is converting the school and everyone to his cause, especially Kevin and his entourage. Kevin, once again, is wonderful. You can't hate Kevin. And now Kevin has a posse, so fuck yeah. The Kevin posse, you can't hate the Kevin posse. They all have at least one funny line. Everyone in the film has at least one funny line. Sometimes even two. John Cena, still perfect. It's fucking John Cena. There's nothing wrong to say there. He continues to gaslight Fred to go on more increasingly deranged escapades to prove that his teacher's a vampire. But, God, Fred 2 is charming. Fred, you still hate Fred, I'll be honest. Fred isn't changing, he won't change, and we love that. We love that about Fred. But now, a lot of the characters from Fred 1 are more fleshed out, such as Fred's mom, and to an extent, Bertha. Man, Fred 2 is good. But now, we're on to the third Fred film in 2012. There have been 3 Fred films a year. And this one just feels not bad, just a bit exhausted. What happens in Fred 3 though? Well, it is not a Halloween film. It is a summer film. Fred's going to summer camp. Which, I'll be honest, Fred's supposed to be like 15, 16 during the Fred films, and it's just like, are you really going to summer camp at 15? I mean, I went to summer camp, but I stopped going at like 13. Nonetheless, whatever, that's semantics. Comment if you went to a summer camp at 16, I guess. Fred originally thinks he's going to the prestigious, gilded Camp Superior. Instead, to his horror, he finds out he's going to the proletariat Camp I Wanna Pee-Pee. Ha ha ha. Fred does not like this. Understandably so, after your expectations have been crushed. But nonetheless, he is stuck going to Camp I Wanna Pee-Pee. Ha! Getting there, he meets an odd cast of characters, and Fred learns something horrifying. The camp is putting drugs into the gruel. Why are they doing this? What reason could they have? Well, you see, Fred thinks he knows. As we know, Fred's intuition is never wrong and has never been wrong in any film ever. And he correctly assumes it is because they must drug the campers to feed them to the Rat King in the Rat Den. In his intelligence, Fred knows he cannot have the gruel. He does not want to be fed to the Rat King. I understand that. And Fred understands that. So instead, he takes the red berries around the camp and consumes them, not realizing that they are incredibly hallucinogenic. So Fred be tripping balls, haha. But whatever. He also learned something even more horrifying than that. Kevin's at Camp Superior. Oh! And Camp Superior and Camp I Wanna Pee-Pee, haha, are, they have a camp games where the two camps compete. Tragically, Camp I Wanna Pee-Pee, haha, hasn't won the camp games in the past 69 years, haha. And this, combined with the fact that Kevin's at Camp Superior, lights a fire in Fred's soul. Fred cannot allow that. Fred must help him and his new cast of friends win the games for the first time in 69 years. Haha. And maybe along the way, he'll learn a thing or two. There is a level of just exhaustion with Fred 3. It's hard to describe, but it just... The highs aren't as high as Fred 1 and 2, but that doesn't mean that it's horrible. There's less John Cena, and not as much Kevin. And maybe that's why. Maybe it's because I want more Kevin, and I want more John Cena. So, we've watched all these movies, and where does that leave us today? Well, at the top, as we all suspected, is Fred 1. It's perfect in every way. It is an A+ film, for what it is. Following it, of course, is Fred 2. Fred 2 is a wonderful, charming Halloween film. There's very little to hate about it. And then, of course, Fred 3 follows next, and it gets a B. Smosh the Movie is a wonderful and charming hurrah of the mid-2010s internet, and more specifically YouTube. However, the pacing issues it had prevent it from reaching the same heights as the Fred series. Airplane Mode is a time capsule of 2016. Take that as you will. It gets a D tier. Internet Famous is very much out of touch for what it's trying to say. It's a premise that could work, but is executed poorly. It gets a D tier as well. And then that leaves us with Not Cool at the bottom. The directing of Shane Dawson prevents it from really doing anything besides get an F. I watched all 7 of these, so you don't have to. Unless it's Smosh or the Fred series, then I think you should. Or perhaps I missed one, and if I did, I think you should leave it below. Or if you also agree with my placing and ranking of the Fred series, comment that below. And if you enjoyed, I think you should subscribe. Bye! Bye!